Here's Rineman in the Morning, on demand from 102.1 and 105.3, The Shark.
Well, let's get the hard part out of the way early, huh?
And now, here's sports in 10 seconds with the Sportsman.
Boston Bruins, the only Bears to hibernate in the spring.
That's your sports in 10 seconds with Sportsman. Now, on Rineman in the Morning, it's What's Up on the Shark app with Megan, the Shark's own app and website guru.
Megan, what's going on?
Have you ever been to level 99 in Natick, Mass?
No, but I've been to Natick, Mass. Anyway, continue.
So it's a mega escape, and it has mega escape and challenge rooms and scavenger hunts for adults. And it's really insanely cool. They have one of those. It's basically a ton of challenges that you can do with your friends or your family or even a date night. They have, you know how sort of in the movies you have to like almost run across a bridge and there's like axes swinging and you got to like an obstacle course
What kind
sort
of movies are you? No, I don't watch those kind of movies. What are you talking about?
Do you know what I'm trying to say to you, though? It's hard to articulate it verbally. If I showed you a video, which is on the Shark app.
Well, give me a movie or show this is like.
You know in Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring, where they're running across that really thin bridge? Imagine that, except there are like axes swinging in both directions, and you have to like maneuver yourself in a way where you don't get sliced.
So you're telling me that I can go to this thing and they'll give me a whole bunch of rings?
Sure. But in all honesty,
Oh, Megan just turned into Dennis Miller there. Sure, Riney. Yeah,
no,
that's
but
what you got over there.
In all honesty, they have this other cool obstacle course where you have to like climb all these monkey bars in the ceiling and touch these buttons on the walls without hitting the floor and like things like that. It's just fun challenges and obstacle courses that are all very safe, mind you. I know I mentioned axes. Obviously, we're not talking real axes.
So this is what's it called again?
It's called Level 99.
Level 99. It's in wonderful Natick, Massachusetts. You can read all about it on the Shark app. Little inside joke there.
It looks really cool, actually.
And I just want you to be proud that you said the word monkey and I didn't take the bait.
No.
We're moving on.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
Barack Obama went to see Bruce Springsteen. Obama loves Springsteen, since they both had to spend their careers saying they were born in the USA. President Biden spoke at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, which explains why the dinner was an early bird special. Yes, Biden spoke for 20 minutes at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, while Trump spoke for 30 minutes into a McDonald's drive-thru speaker.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
Megan, what else is going on?
There is a Colorado coffee chain that is moving east and opening shops in both New Hampshire and Maine.
Now, when you say moving, do you mean they're expanding east?
Yeah.
Or I thought you meant they were moving the operation east.
No, they're expanding, which means that people like them.
I thought it was a reverse Donner Party. That the Colorado was coming to the east. Of course, I guess a reverse Donner Party would be you make more people.
Oh my gosh! You ever play Oregon Trail?
It's Oregon. It's Oregon Trail.
Oregon.
Oregon.
No, we're talking Oregon
again.
now. Organ. Oregon
Megan,
Trail.
Oregon.
That's the Donner Party after all, right?
No, Oregon Trail is actually a game they played in the Donner Party.
That's true.
That was the appetizer.
How do we get here?
I don't know.
Every time we talk, it's just a stream of consciousness. And I always, in the office when Michael Scott, I was about to say Michael Jackson because we were talking about Michael Jackson off the air.
Yeah, we were all over the place.
When Michael Scott says something like, sometimes I start a sentence and I don't know where it's going. I just hope
quote.
I find it along the way.
Yeah.
That's literally how I am every day when I'm in the
radio,
studio.
baby. That's how it is. That's my approach.
It really is. We went from coffee shops to, I don't even know what the heck we're talking about now.
You never know what's going to happen.
Trail.
You never know what's going to happen on Rineman in the Morning. It's unpredictable.
That's what makes it so fun, though.
It's unpredictable. Oh! That's Andrew Dice Clay in that song.
Nice.
The comedian.
Cool.
And is Andrew Dice Clay going to go to this Colorado coffee chain that's moving here to New England?
Yes,
and
it's called Ziggy's Coffee.
Ziggy's Coffee.
Yes.
Okay.
You trying to think of a joke of...
I was trying to decide, am I going to go with a comic strip joke or a reggae joke? And I just decided, I think we've had enough.
I think we have.
It's Classic Hits for the Seacoast. 102.1, 105.3 The Shark. We'll be right back with more Rineman in the Morning.
I need a drink.
You should go to that new coffee place from Colorado.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Celtics, Sixers, Boston, Philly, baked beans, cream cheese, roast beef, cheesesteak, Dunkin' Donuts, Pretzel Factory. My arm's numb. Call an ambulance.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
Megan, we've reached that point where I wrote something for the Shark app, and you said you have questions.
Who is this poor guy, Daryl, who you've apparently wronged?
Okay, so there was a gentleman named Daryl. On the Shark app, you can read the story and get an in-depth description of my horrible behavior as a child. You know how, like, when your parents are talking to somebody at the store and you're like, come on, and you're like on the floor or you're pulling their arm and you're like, I want to go.
Oh,
Why
yeah.
are you talking? So I'm doing that to my dad, and he's talking to some guy, his friend Daryl, who I just met. And so my dad, when he was in the Navy and then in the Naval Reserves, was stationed up in Maine. And I guess knew someone from like a bar up there or whatever he and the guys would go hang out at. And it was this gentleman, Daryl, wearing like a leather bomber jacket. I'm thinking he's just another Navy pilot or whatever. I'm just like, please, let's go. And long story short, years later, I found out who Daryl really was. And it was someone I very much knew about and had heard of.
Oh, boy.
And in retrospect was like, hold on. Yeah, I don't know many Navy pilots that get to have like beautiful long blonde mullets that dudes look at and go, man, that's some cool hair. I wish I had that hair, like from the 80s.
Oh, wow.
And so I wrote an apology to Daryl because I heard he's going to be in the area later this month. So I'm very sorry, but go to the Shark app and read my full description to Daryl, and also a link to another story, another very famous musician that I made very angry. And I was an adult that time.
I'm noticing a pattern of you making people angry.
That's what I do.
That's what you do best. I'm sure you wish you had the head of hair, though. I've given him a little smug smile right now.
It's classic hits for the Seacoast, 102.1, 105.3 The Shark. We'll be right back after our trip to HR.
You're going to pick your ego up off the floor? I know I just broke it into a million pieces.
Okay, that's enough.
It's time for your News on the Nines with News Guy.
Today is National Teachers Day, but can I turn in my present tomorrow for partial credit? Last night was the Met Gala in New York City. Yeah, I don't care either. Aerosmith announced they're going on a farewell tour, and you can tell they're getting up there because instead of scarves, Steven Tyler's mic stand is covered in Life Alert necklaces.
And that's your News on the Nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
It's time for your Shark Seacoast forecast, brought to you by P. Gagnon and Son. Good morning, Mark Rosenthal.
Good morning, Mr. Ryman. What's happening?
Hey, let me ask you a question, Mark. Today is National Teachers Day. Are there any special teachers you'd like to give a shout-out to or just tell a quick story about?
Well, I had a great teacher back in Newton South High School in the early 70s, Dorothy Hansberry. She was an unbelievable person who got me through high school. She really got me into reading books, and she taught me how to read and write and do a whole bunch of great stuff, and I just loved her. We became great friends, and she died several years ago. But I was friends up until she was like 95 years old.
That's amazing. Well, it's great to hear, and I'm glad she kept you going, Mark, and I'm glad we have you here every day.
Thank you, sir.
Now on Rineman in the Morning, it's What's Up on the Shark app with Megan, the Shark's own app and website guru.
Megan, what's going on?
If you're going to Lake Winnipesaukee this summer, you can do a cruise on a tiki hut bar boat.
What? At Lake Winnipesaukee?
Yeah, like you'd think those things would be in more like tropical climates and not so much New Hampshire, but apparently they are, and you can go in like a floating tiki bar.
That's amazing because Winnipesaukee, in the summer, as we know, there's no more beautiful place in the land.
It's gorgeous. It really is.
So now they got a tiki bar and a boat
They
up there.
do. And like I've done a tiki bar on wheels before. Like I've done what's called a pedal pub where it's like you sit on the stool and they're like bike pedals. I was in downtown Nashville,
Really?
Tennessee. Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Nashville again.
It was so much fun. Well, one of my
We're
girlfriends.
going to get a note, Megan, from someone. Like Herb's going to call us and go, hey, John, how you doing? It's the captain. I was listening back. And great stuff. But Megan does know that Nashville's not in New England. That's not live and local. But on the Shark app, there's a tiki bar on a boat in Winnipesaukee.
It's not on wheels, but it's on a boat.
Are you going to go?
Honestly, I might.
It's alcohol on Lake Winnipesaukee.
Yeah.
Boy, there's a joke I could go for there with someone I know very well.
Have a sip and have a swim.
Yeah, I know someone who might do that, and you can probably guess who it is. But I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it.
You know, the sad thing is, I'm thinking of a lot of people.
No, you know the one. And it's not. Let's pretend it's Sean Olston, though.
Let's pretend it's Sean.
Yeah. I'll tell you who might have enjoyed a few too many tikis, the Celtics.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
They should call that last Celtics play the Benny Hill.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
My next guest is a very funny stand-up comedian. Please welcome to Rineman in the Morning, Harry KONDABOLU. How's it going?
Good, man. It's good to hear from you. Glad to be here.
So you grew up in New York City, in Queens, my favorite borough, by the way, and I'm not joking. I love it there. But you attended school not far from here in Maine at Bowdoin College. How did you like going to college in Maine?
It was a change. Queens is the most diverse place in the world. You might know this from your experiences in New Hampshire, but Portland, Maine is not as diverse.
Nope.
Growing up in Queens, you see the world around you, and you're kind of sheltered in diversity. And so when I got to Maine, it was like, oh, this is why TV and movies look the way they look. I've never experienced like being the only one of a thing. I think that's why I loved doing stand-up, because I'm like, if y'all going to look at me and ask me questions, at least I get to control the mic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, good point.
And so
you're on tour right now. What can people expect to hear if they go see you?
I mean, certainly, like, I'm a dad, so there's going to be stuff about being a parent. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think for me, I've desperately not tried to be a dad comic, though I will say a few puns slipped into my set, and I don't think I had a choice in the matter. I think that was being a father, they just show up magically all of a sudden.
For all things Harry KONDABOLU, go to harrykondabolu.com.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
Today is National Teachers Day. Hopefully they finally get some respect from those nasty, childish brats they have to deal with every day. But enough about parents. Last night was the Met Gala in New York City, but if you missed it, just go to TJ Maxx and drop acid. Donald Trump will speak at a town hall meeting in New Hampshire next week. He'll go after the guy who wants to sell fireworks out of his truck and before the guy who thinks a UFO landed at Applecrest.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
Megan, what else is going on?
So we have a list of the New Hampshire restaurants that have been featured on diners, drive-ins, and dives. Have you ever watched that show?
No, I haven't. What's it all about?
I actually haven't watched it either, but I'm assuming, based on my knowledge of Food Network, it's someone who goes around the country trying different restaurants and different types of cuisine. And they've paid a visit to the Granite State several times. And I think it's interesting to sort of know the restaurants that have been featured on TV and Food Network and things like that.
I want to know the drive-in connection, though. Like, what? The guy goes to drive-ins on that show?
I'm guessing because the title is indeed diners, drive-ins,
so he
and dives.
goes to a drive-in and then judges the food. What a nerd.
I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. You get to eat and get paid to do it.
No, you go to a drive-in just to eat? What's your problem? Don't people know what a drive-in is? Like, hey, you know what? Why don't we get a motel room just for ourselves and eat some pretzels?
What I want to know from you...
What's that all about?
What I want to know from you is, do you watch any, like, Food Network or food-related TV?
No. Never have.
Interesting. I do.
Why would I want to watch? I don't understand people that do that. If I have food on the mind, I eat food. Who likes to watch food on TV?
Me.
Why? Doesn't it make you hungry and angry that it's not there to eat right then?
I watch Hell's Kitchen.
Oh, okay. That's one thing.
The thing that I've noticed that's so funny is there have been a couple times where one of the things I'll do before coming into work is over the weekend I do meal prep for the week. Like I make a whole bunch of food and I pack it up.
That's awesome.
So it saves me time. But one time I was doing it and I had Hell's Kitchen in the background and I noticed myself like in my kitchen just working more like aggressively, for lack of a better word. Because in the background you have Gordon Ramsay like swearing at people and being like, you suck, and like much harsher language.
You yelling at your cat. You say, what's your cat's name again?
Oh, my cat doesn't live with me, but her name, Family Cat, lives with my family.
Oh, I was going to say, did you guys separate? My cat's living in the motel.
I call her my cat.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Snoop Dogg is buying a hockey team? Talk about high sticking.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
Megan, we've reached that point where I wrote something for the Shark app, and you have questions.
You were talking to me about how over the weekend you made some new friends at the beach.
I thought I did, but I'm not sure now if they were like. It's not where they are; it's when they are.
Okay,
Megan,
elaborate, please.
They may have been time travelers. That's all I'm saying.
Interesting.
And here's what happened: I was driving along Hampton Beach with Sadie, my daughter, and I kind of did a double take. Because I saw what I thought was a DeLorean. Now, a DeLorean is the car from Back to the Future. and with Michael J. Fox. And, of course, he's been in the news a lot the past few days, and so it was really kind of like coincidental. And so I turned back around, I circled back. No, there's like 10 DeLoreans lined up along around 10th Street, like on the wall there by North Beach. And I go, I have to stop. So I pull over and I get out. And, normally you get people kind of friendly, go, hey, how's it going? Like if you come over.
Yeah.
They seemed standoffish. And there was 3 guys talking and 2 did kind of a hesitate and walk away. And the other one tentatively shook his hand. And his name was Adam. And I said, hey, I'm Rineman from Rineman in the Morning, the Shark. And he went, yeah, okay. Yeah, I know that Shark. I think I've heard that show. I said, what do you guys do? Well, you have to go to the Shark app to read about why all these DeLoreans were there. Mm-hmm. But there was a very strange thing where I said, I'd love to have you guys on and talk about what you do. I gave him my card. Okay. And then I said, hey, can I have yours? And he reached for his pocket. Then he went, I don't have any cards. And then he goes, I'm going to email you as soon as I get home. Haven't heard from him. I can't find any trace of these people other than the picture I took, which you can see on the Shark app, and what they told me.
Question, though. When were you by the beach?
Saturday, probably 1 p.m.
Because I actually drove the beach on Saturday, but it was a couple hours later. And I actually drove past the beach plum, and I looked for you and Sadie. I literally looked, because I know you guys hang out there. Yeah. And I was like, I wonder if Ryman's there with Sadie, because I've been telling you I've been wanting to meet Sadie forever.
I thought you were going to say, I drove by the beach at 1 p.m. and I saw nothing there. But I saw you talking to thin air, and I thought you were crazy, and I just let it go.
My suspicions were confirmed that you are indeed crazy.
It's Classic Hits for the Seacoast, 102.1, 105.3 The Shark. Be right back with more Rineman in the Morning, wherever we are, whenever we are. Shout out to Shakira.
Morning, John.
Morning, Mrs. Hoffman. Today's National Teachers Day, and I just wanted to say thank you for all the great things you did for me at Northampton School.
Well, you've made my morning sunshiny Aruba, John, and Art Hoffman's as well.
Is he there, too? Is Mr. Hoffman next to you?
He's right there.
Oh,
good morning.
Everybody, Howard.
I'm doing well. Hey, Mr. Hoffman, thank you for everything in gym class, and I want to let you know that I'm still doing my neck rotations and all my calisthenics every morning.
I just wanted to say, people like you has made our vocation so much easier and enjoyable.
Just want to say that I have never forgiven, nor will I, David Letterman for not having you on the show when we sent the 10 reasons you should be there. And I'm serious. That so bugged me. We did a great job. We worked together on those 10 reasons, John.
We did.
Maybe I should have left you alone on your own, and you might have made it.
Hey, you know something? I think I did okay. I never met Dave, but I met a few other guys, so it all worked out. Love to you both. And Art, please give my best to Joe Schwartz and Rudy Kazuti and Sherry. Please keep an eye on Mr. Noun and Victor Verb. We need them now more than ever. It's National Teachers Day, and I asked you your favorite teacher. Sandra headed to Portsmouth tomorrow night.
Oh, gosh. This was like 100 years ago. Her name was Miss Gardner. She was my third grade teacher, and she just was spectacular.
My name's Dave from Boylston, Massachusetts, and Mrs. Carpenter was my best teacher.
Chrissy calling in from Duncan's in Greenland.
My favorite teacher was John McHugh. He's from Newburyport High School, and he was really into teaching and education, and he really taught me a lot about English and history.
Hi, I'm Annalise. I go to Mohammed Elementary School. Miss Allen is the best teacher ever.
And finally, Patrick from Newmarket.
Miss Lucas and Mr. Willis. It was English and history. I never had any two teachers believe in me more, and they really helped me boost my GPA and get me into college.
And not only did they get Patrick into college, Patrick just got a big new official important job at the State House. He's working for the state of New Hampshire up in Concord. Patrick, I'm so proud of you, and I'm proud to have you as a listener on Rineman in the Morning.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
After drummer Joey Kramer retired from touring, Aerosmith is down to just 4 members. And I thought they were fantastic in 84 Brady. An Arizona woman survived being stung 75 times by bees during a family photo shoot. Even stranger, the photo shoot was at J.C. Penney. Vice News is on the verge of bankruptcy. I haven't seen a vice that close to demise since January 6th.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
Megan, what is going on?
We, unfortunately, are losing one of the most popular rides at Santa's Village. It's a roller coaster.
Why?
You know, your guess is as good as mine. Apparently, it's been there for decades, I think since the 80s, and everyone loves it, but apparently it's going to be replaced by something new.
Wait,
TBD.
This is not like one where maybe you need you get a little wet on the ride. It's not that ride. It's
No.
Okay, good. 'Cause I was going to say that.
I don't think so.
They're getting rid of that. Are they just like turning into a Starbucks or something up there?
The theme involves a certain flying reindeer.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
See, I can't actually be sad about this.
Are they getting rid of it this summer, or do you have to go to the Shark app?
You got to go to the Shark app. I feel bad because I've never actually been to Santa's Village, so like I'm sad for everybody.
Yeah.
But I never went as a kid. I couldn't tell you why. I feel like it was on my parents' radar, but we went to Storyland once or twice instead.
I hope it stays up just long enough because so I can take Sadie up there. She's never been to Santa's V, as I call it. Nicktown. That's another way for Saint Nick.
That's funny.
Kringleville.
Kringleville.
Yeah, make sure you say it to everyone who works there. They love that stuff. It's classic hits for the Seacoast. 102.1, 105.3 The Shark. Ho, ho, ho. And Merry May 3rd. Thank you for listening to Rineman in the Morning.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Celtics should put one defender in front of James Harden and another one inside of his beard.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
Megan, what else is going on?
The late, great Barbara Walters' Fifth Avenue Manhattan apartment is on the market, and you can see pictures of what the inside looks like.
But, Megan, what is the local connection to Barbara Walters?
She's from Boston.
You're supposed to say go to the Shark app. I set you up for that, and you just blew your angle. Unbelievable. You know, we were talking about Santa's Village a little while ago, and the biggest Santa's Village fan I know is Mick Foley from WWE. He'd be so mad at you right now. You broke kayfabe.
Oh, no. I'm not going to sleep well tonight. I'm going to toss and turn because some random guy I don't know doesn't like me.
Are you making fun of me, my Facebook status about having a nightmare?
Oh, your passive-aggressive Facebook status?
I wasn't being passive-aggressive.
I don't even know.
I wasn't being passive-aggressive. I was sharing with people.
You know, it all blends together because a lot of people were posting just like swear words on Facebook during like the Bruins and Celtics games and things like that. And so then like you were sharing posts and I was like, I don't even know what he's complaining about right now. He's probably just being a little brat.
I don't even remember what. Okay, so Barbara Walters.
What are we talking about?
Barbara Walters, of course. She would love this. As the creator of The View, she would love what's happening right now.
Of course.
Barbara would be like, this is compelling television. This is what people have to tune in to see.
Of course. What I'm circling back to is you can check out the inside of this pretty snazzy chic apartment.
Is that the official architectural?
Snazzy chic, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, go to the Shark app to check out people. You know, that's a highlight for us right there. They got to hear my Barbara Walters impression and your Wicked Witch impression. Give us a cackle as we go out here, Megan.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
Television writers are on strike, meaning we are left with reruns of things we've already seen. You know, like the election. Jay Leno brought donuts to writers on the picket line. Then Ellen DeGeneres drove by and threw coffee at them. The writer's strike means even more reality TV, which explains that new show, The Real Housewives of Nick Cannon.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
Megan, we've reached that point where I wrote something for the Shark app, and you have questions.
A New England news anchor was doing his New England news anchor thing when he had a visitor.
Mm-hmm.
From a family member of his.
Yes. And that could go either way because, you know, we've been talking about all sorts of weird stuff we've been seeing lately. But this will warm your heart. So this is a nice news blooper, but it's kind of funny. And it's just what makes this funny is he doesn't lose his cool at all, and he just nails it with the weather forecast. And he just keeps giving the highs and talking about all the pressure and systems and everything. And it's like so cool. And it's that moment where like that's just you hope you have that for a lifetime that, you know, this thing. And but also there's another article on the Shark app because I had to balance it out because it's not my brand to be heartwarming.
It's not my brand.
And so I also put up there's a bunch of classic New England, like, you know, dark laughs, news bloopers where you go, oh my gosh. And my friend Randy Price talks a little bit about that and also just how to get your news and not go crazy. And he had some really good advice. So check those both out over on the Shark app. It's a Rineman twofer. Anything to add, Megan?
When I go to Planet Fitness, there are like 10 TVs that are all showing the news. It's always fun to compare different headlines. I'll leave it at that. But
okay.
What different stations prioritize talking about versus others.
Yeah. None of them are great. That's what I would say.
It could be better.
I'll tell you the only news I trust. Huey Lewis and the...
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Is anybody else having seizures from those Red Sox home run lights?
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
Rineman in the Morning. Megan's back joining me, and we have some other guests in the studio as well. I'm joined by Erin McMahon, Belmont, New Hampshire, and her two friends, Woof and Lemon. They are pugs, and Woof is famous because Woof has hiked all 48 4,000-foot mountains in the state of New Hampshire. Erin, welcome to Rineman in the Morning.
Hi, thank you.
Why isn't what's Lemon's deal? Why isn't Lemon going on these hikes?
Lemon does go on the hikes with us, but she's only 3, so she just hasn't done them all yet.
Okay, got it. I didn't know if she was like an at-home cardio dog.
Oh, no.
Or something like that.
She I think likes hiking more than Wolf, so she's there.
Really?
Yeah, she's done 36 of them.
She's done 36?
Oh, she's close.
We didn't know that.
Yeah.
So you have 2 pugs, and they've hiked. Wow, and Lemon's going to catch up.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Okay, so take me through it. Now, when these pugs, they're both kind of walking around the studio here, so they're just exploring the studio space.
I'm so happy right now.
Megan, like, this is her dream come true. Like, how did this start out? Were you walking the dogs and you just noticed, like, they like to, like, climb up stuff, or did you just say, like, let's go for it? Let's see how they do on a hike one day?
Pretty much. So we've had Wolf, me and my husband have had Wolf a lot longer.
Yes.
And we actually took him from a family who said he was too hyper and they couldn't have him anymore. So I was expecting like this really hyper dog that needed to be walked all the time.
Yes.
It turns out he was in a kennel most of the day with them. So as soon as we let him out of the kennel for the day, he was like a total couch potato. But we still kept up with the walks. We went walking every day, and then it turned into trails and then mountains.
Megan, you read this story, and I know you love nature. You love going up there. Have you ever seen a pug climbing a mountain? In any of your travels?
Then again, I haven't hiked many mountains in my day. I'm jealous that a dog has accomplished more in their short life than me.
By the way, that was the dog's collar shaking, not Megan's. Just there. Are people surprised when they see a pug at the top of a mountain? Do they just assume that you carried the pug and you have to say, nah, man, he did the work?
Yeah, always. They're always very surprised, and it's always... How'd you carry them both up here?
Say people want to take their dog for a hike on one of the mountains. What kind of stuff do you bring along to make sure the dog's healthy, everything's taken care of, and all that stuff?
It really depends on the season. You know, in the summer, I'm super worried about how much water or is there access to water. You know, and then in the winter, it's the complete opposite. Are they going to be warm enough? You know, is the weather going to change? Is it going to be windy?
So you're doing this in the wintertime, too?
Oh, yeah. All year. Yeah.
It's an amazing story. It's 2 mountain climbing pugs. Go check it out on the Shark app.
It's time for your News on the Nines with News Guy.
After an object fell out of the sky and landed on the Kremlin, Ukraine denied any involvement. And out of habit, so did JetBlue. McDonald's is accused of hiring workers as young as 10 to sell McRibs as old as 20. People in Utah will need to provide a picture of their face to access pornography. Of course, in Utah, a picture of your face actually counts as pornography.
And that's your News on the Nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
All right, I'm here with Jimmy Fallon. First of all,
John Ryman, look at this beard.
Are you being paid tonight in cash or Mikey NFTs?
I do anything for It's all Bitcoin, dude. It's all crypto. You know me all the way, man.
All right. Jimmy was in the news this week. The Writers Guild of America has gone on strike. 1 or 2 of Jimmy's employees spoke out on social media with some frustration that they were not really informed what this means for them. The non-writers, we're talking the camera people, the stagehands, all the staff in the office, the warm-up comic who makes Jimmy funny by comparison. And they were like, hey, what's going on? I wish someone would talk to us. We're hearing all these rumors. Jimmy went to the meeting yesterday. He's going to help pay the staff in the immediate future. He's also set them up to have health insurance through September. So I think that's very nice. And Jimmy, I know you're listening. Every Friday night, you listen to the Ryman in the Morning on demand over on the Shark app right after you drink your warm milk at 9 p.m. before you go to sleep. And to show you how proud I am, when you're in the area, when you're going up to Lake Winnipesaukee in Wolfboro, you can come co-host 1 hour of Rineman in the Morning. I'm willing to go to 2 if you pay the insurance through December.
Now on Rineman in the Morning, it's What's Up on the Shark app with Megan, the Shark's own app and website guru.
Megan, what's happening?
A Boston pizza joint was recently named among the top 7 in the entire country. But what I want to know from you is, what's your favorite pizza place in New Hampshire?
Oh, boy.
I know. I'm putting you on the spot.
You are so putting me on the spot.
Really am.
I don't know. It's too hard.
Well, give one of your favorites.
It's not there anymore, so it's fair. I can take this opinion. There was a place called Joe's New York Pizza, and it was on Route 1 in Hampton, and we all used to go hang out there. That was like our Arnold's from Happy Days, where we would go get our pizza after high school and talk about girls and sports.
I feel like men's brains are divided into those two categories, girls and sports.
The sad thing was, as I remember it, there was almost like we would decide in advance. Okay, what do we begin with today?
Girls or sports? You got 2 choices.
Girls? Okay, I see all hands. You go right over there. Patrick, what do you think? No, yeah, Joe's New York Pizza was just a fun hang. What about you? What's your favorite pizza go-to?
Probably La Festa in Dover.
The Festa in Dover?
Yeah. When I was in high school especially, I would go there a good amount of the time with friends. They have really amazing garlic knots. They're really good. And of course, the pizza.
Well, I'm sorry. Do they have really amazing garlic or don't they? You said not right after.
Garlic knots.
Again, I'm going to ask you, do they have...
Yes.
Okay. It's classic hits for the Seacoast. 102.1, 105.3 The Shark. The only thing missing at Joe's New York Pizza was that jukebox that someone could bang with their elbow, make it play music, and you know what Fonzie would say after he did that?
Hey!
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Celtics crushed the Sixers. I haven't seen that many threes since I tried speed dating.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
Megan, what else is going on?
So I really love this. So Maine's very own LL Bean is actually taking this month off of social media in honor of Mental Health Awareness Month.
Oh, good. That's good to hear.
I think that's awesome. And I honestly, especially because, you know, the world of social media is huge these days and you use that for a lot of your marketing and promotional efforts. And so the fact that they're willing to just do a complete pause on everything, which could theoretically impact their business, is really, I like it personally.
I got to tell you, it's so ironic. I like that they're doing that. I agree with what you said. Mm-hmm. And you're being one with nature. That's what LL Bean is all about.
Yes.
Great New England business.
Spending time outside, which they say is good for your health.
I got to tell you, though, my earliest traumatic moment from childhood, ironically, though, and it's not the one you're thinking of. We know about Daryl at LL Bean. We know about when I ran into my dad's friend Daryl and made a fool out of myself. And, and then Daryl was like, I can't go for that. No can do. But when I was 3 years old.
Oh, no.
I got lost in the tent section of LL Bean, and I was missing for an hour. So this was the 80s. This was the height of that hysteria about, oh, God, they're coming to steal our children. Now, having been a child myself and heard stories about myself.
You were a child once?
Yeah, believe it or not.
Wild.
Had the same hairline. It was strange. I don't know who would want to steal me. I think it's far more likely my parents said, we have a chance, let's run. But you know what happened? The nice staff at LL Bean, they calmed me down. I was so upset and so scared. They calmed me down because they care about well-being and they made me feel okay. And then they let me go on the intercom at LL Bean and say, "Will John and Nancy Rineman come get me?"
Are you serious?
And we still hear the story of how all of a sudden my eyes lit up because I heard my own voice over the loudspeaker of that store, and that's where it all began. How about that?
And you said to yourself, "I'm going to go into late night writing."
No, I said I'm gonna get lost in stores from now on, and just get on the microphone, get on the
ripe
intercom.
age of 3.
I did it at Shop and Save. I did it at Shaw's, Montgomery Ward. Yeah, I made the tour.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
After a confrontation with a flight attendant, a Frontier Airlines passenger was voted off a flight. Told you I can win a vote, said Trump. President Biden will attend a fundraising dinner that costs $25,000 per meal. Said Biden, my meal better come with a toy. Today is Star Wars Day. I celebrated like I always do by discovering my Tinder date is my sister.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
We're at that point where I wrote something for the Shark app and Megan has questions.
So you gave your take on the ongoing writers' strike, which I know you and I have talked a lot off air about.
Well,
but
I'm a member of the Writers Guild of America, so full disclosure there, I would say biased, but no, I'm in solidarity with the writers, yes.
Yeah, of course. But you mentioned there's some New England ties.
So, well, very much so. If you look at late night, it's very heavily late night. You wrote a wonderful piece on the Shark app about all the New England sketches on Saturday Night Live, because, I mean, half that staff's always New England. It's either people from around here or people that went to,
college here.
Harvard, Emerson, Boston University.
Yeah.
And so, it's Yale, whatever. So it's very New England influenced, late night is. And even from a diverse scope, it's all sorts of people that came here and had a wonderful education. But I wrote about this where it all kind of began in because late night is a big thing. That's the big thing that could go away because of the strike. And I know our audience, may not care all that much because, hey, we're all up in the morning now. We've grown up and, late nights for the kids. But think of where you'd be without late night. Think of all these stuff, all the things you learned about that comedy. Think of all the great writers we wouldn't have. It all kind of began with this thing that went down in 2004, where there was a guy who went to college here in New England. He was an executive. He made a very strange decision as a network executive, and it forced one person out, even though he was still number one. It got another guy to stay, even though he'd probably would have been better off leaving and was ready to go do his own thing. It put another person in the host chair behind the desk, I think a little bit before he was quite ready to take on some of that stuff. Another person from right here in New Hampshire, who I think sadly could be the one that kind of loses out the most from all of this. And all New England ties. And you can read about it on the Shark app.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Red Sox win 6 straight, which means I lose half my jokes.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
And it is Star Wars Day, and I asked you, if you were a Star Wars character, who would you be? Bill in Manchester.
The Mandalorian.
How come?
Because I love the guy. He's awesome.
Michelle in Rochester.
Yoda.
Big Yoda or Baby Yoda?
Baby.
Donnell in Stratford.
Wookiee.
Okay. And finally, Patrick in Newmarket.
Probably either Chewbacca or Boba Fett.
Is it because you're hairy?
Yeah, pretty much.
I appreciate your honesty, Patrick. Classic hits for the Seacoast, 102.1, 105.3 The Shark. It's Rineman in the Morning. And I have some guests here in the Shark Tank. I'm joined by Curtis and Deb from Zebra Crossings. Welcome to Rineman in the Morning. How's it going?
Going well.
Yeah,
good
really
morning.
good.
Thank you for having us in.
Now tell me a little bit about Zebra Crossings. This is a wonderful program you guys have here on the Seacoast.
So Zebra Crossings is a tiny nonprofit organization, and our primary mission is to provide recreational and social programs for kiddos with chronic medical conditions. And usually those programs are overnight opportunities. So the kiddos come with their families and their siblings, and we go out to one of the great, wonderful overnight camps here in New Hampshire. And we do all of the things that you do at camp.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So many kids who have chronic illness just can't fit into a typical camp program. And so we design specialized programs that meet their medical needs and bring the magic of camp to them.
Now you have a big event coming up. It's a road race right here in Dover. When's that going on?
That is Moms on the Run, our Mother's Day 5K. It's the 15th running of the race. We're really excited. It's a great way to celebrate moms and, get out there as a family. So that's on Mother's Day, May 14th.
Wait, hold on a second. So it's Mother's Day, and you're making the moms run, Curtis? Deb, how do you feel about this?
Yeah, I know that sounds crazy, but some moms really actually love to run.
Away from their children. Sure. Yeah, happy
sometimes.
Mother's Day.
Or pushing the stroller. We see.
Oh my gosh,
yeah,
for
we see
real?
a lot of people come across the finish line.
Now, what happens in that case? Does the baby get the medal? Do you guys have to go to court? What happens?
Yeah,
They finish just in front of mom. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. There must be some amazing success stories that come out of this program. Is there anyone that comes to mind that really inspirational that you look back and you just smile?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd say the feedback we get from campers is that this is one of their favorite weekends of the entire year. Even just speaking with some of our campers from last weekend, they look forward so much to the community that's there, the friendships and relationships they build. They get to do things that they would never get to do, in the rest of their lives, like climbing on a ropes course or even sitting around the campfire for some kids is a unique experience. So, they look forward to it and they really appreciate the camp experience.
Where can people go to get more information on zebra crossings?
So our website is zebra-crossings.org.
Yep.
So lots of great information there about us to learn more. And also we have a race registration link right there too. So if somebody would like to pre-register for the race, you can do that right on our website.
And you can find us on Facebook as well.
Well, thank you so much for coming. And I hope you have a great turnout this year for the race.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
Tomorrow is the Kentucky Derby, and a last-minute entrant is named King Russell. So at least there's one king we can get excited about. That's right, tomorrow is the Kentucky Derby, or as the Amish call that, the Indy 500. Yes, it's the Kentucky Derby. I'll celebrate as I always do by putting on a fancy hat, drinking a mint julep, then throwing up into the fancy hat.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
My guest this morning is a judge on the upcoming season of America's Got Talent, and really every season of America's Got Talent. He's coming to the Music Hall in downtown Portsmouth on Sunday, May 14th. Please welcome to Rineman in the Morning, HOWIE MANDEL. HOWIE, how's it going?
I don't know. I think it went. It went well.
Okay. Have you played Portsmouth before?
Yes, I have.
And
what? Go ahead. Finish your question, and I hope my answer matches the question.
Well, I was just going to say, what do you think of when you think of New Hampshire?
Well, I love New Hampshire, and I've been there even without doing stand-up comedy. So, and a lot of great comics have come out of that state. So I think of my friends that have come out of there. But more importantly, I haven't been doing stand-up for the last 3 years because of my own mental health issues. But, COVID didn't help that. So up until 3 years ago, I was doing for the last 40 years, up to 200 live dates a year, and then I just shut down. So coming to Portsmouth is probably less than 20th show that I've had in the last 3 years. So all I have is terror, excitement, thrill, kind of like getting on a roller coaster. So I can't wait.
Well, you talked about coming to New Hampshire and loving their area so much. What are some of your early memories from doing stand-up in New England when you first started going on the road?
Well, when I first started touring, I used to, really touring after I kind of blew up in the 80s doing stand-up on, cable specials and things like that. I used to stay in Boston and then just play like every play, the Cape Cod and the 10th and I think it was Pier 6. And I knew all the other comedy clubs like Nick's and the Comedy Connection and Hall, but I used to just drop in on those. I kind of blew up pretty fast and didn't really play the clubs. But I was on a television show that was based in Boston. I did a drama for 6 years called St. Elsewhere.
Of course,
and we used to shoot the exteriors in Boston. But that was like the height of my stand-up career. Like that's when I first blew up.
Now, you do a podcast with your daughter. It's hilarious, but I need to ask you some advice. I have a 6-year-old daughter named Sadie, and she's funny, and I'm worried that she's starting maybe to get funnier than me. What advice do you have when that moment comes when your child just becomes funnier than you?
That would make me so proud.
Yeah.
My kids are funny. My kids, all three of my kids and my grandkids are all funny. Whether they decide to have a career or do whatever they do, that's, I just like the fact that I found my own path in a way that nobody around me who knew me, including myself, would have ever, chosen or thought of or planned for. It kind of informed me that let's see where my kids go. You know what I mean? I'm just there to support whatever you do and love you.
we're so happy to have you back doing stand-up. We're so excited to have you in Portsmouth. And what can people look forward to hearing you talk about when they go see you at the music hall?
I don't know. I just look at it like a big party, and I'm just trying to be the center of attention. You know, it's very interactive, very improvisational. I want that night to be a special night, like no other night I've had before. So come show up and be part of it. All I need is one other person, just because if I do it alone, it's just awkward. So one listener, please just show up so I'm not alone.
And that listener could be you. For tickets, go to themusichall.org.
Now on Rineman in the Morning, it's What's Up on the Shark app with Megan, the Shark's own app and website guru.
Megan, what's going on?
So I revealed what you might say is a little Portsmouth secret of mine, because I go there all the time and I love...
Oh, I thought this was going to be like something heinous you'd done in Portsmouth.
No, it's not heinous yet. I'm not yet at that point where I'm ready to reveal my crimes.
I thought you were going to be like, you know those boats down at the harbor? You know how people like to lean over and look at them? And I was going, Megan, definitely don't. But this is a secret place you enjoy.
It's not so much secret per se, but there's a street in Portsmouth that I really love going to. There are a couple of businesses there, but I say it's secret because it's kind of tucked away. It's not sort of on the main, like, I think it's Congress Street. I'm bad at street names. I was just talking to a coworker about this, but it's sort of not on.
You are not so great.
No, I'm horrible.
When you're going to New York City, you're like, I'm going to see a play on Play Avenue. And I go, I have to go, Megan, it's Broadway, Megan. That's what it's called.
That's just cruel.
No, I'm sorry. I'm going to Musical Drive to see. I have
a background in the arts. You know that I know my stuff when it comes to that.
Is it martial arts? Anyway, go to the Shark app and read about the street where Megan may have murdered someone by secret.
I didn't murder anybody, but there is an adorable used bookstore that I really love. And there's also another store with crystals and things like that, if that's stuff that you're into. But it's really cool. And there's also a cat that hangs out in the bookstore. And he or she is very cute. Just saying.
Hey, it's 2023. Go your own way.
And now, here's sports in 10 seconds with the Sportsman.
Lakers versus Warriors is like mosquitoes versus ticks.
That's your sports in 10 seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
It's Rineman in the Morning, and it's time for your Shark Seacoast forecast brought to you by P. Gagnon and Son. Happy Cinco de Mayo, Mark Rosenthal.
Happy Cinco de Mayo to you. You look like you're all dressed up in that fancy garb. Where did you get that hat, by the way?
Got it in the trunk of a rental car and just kept it going.
There you go. That's where I found my... No, forget that. Anyway, okay.
Listen to this. There was someone who was walking a lobster here in New Hampshire. We're going to be talking about that coming up in the show. What's the strangest animal you've ever seen someone walk on the street?
I don't think I've seen them walk a lobster. How do you walk a lobster?
Slowly, I guess.
Yeah. I've never seen anyone walk anything strange. Just a dog. That's it. I've lived a very sheltered life.
Oh, my gosh. For a minute, I was like, you know what? Mark's playing the straight man here. And then it was like, nope, there it is. But I love it, and we love you for it. Thank you, Mark. Okay. We'll talk to you next week. Okay. That's coming up at 8:30. Megan and I are talking about the walking lobster of New Hampshire. But before that, we have Cyndi Lauper, Billy Joel, and Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers kicking things off at 7 a.m. And at 7:20, Howie Mandel joins me on 102.1, 105.3 The Shark. Classic hits for the Seacoast. Thank you for listening to Rineman in the Morning. Megan, what else is going on?
Have you ever heard of the Lake Winnipesaukee Mystery Stone?
No. Was this like some gentleman that passed something and just didn't tell people about it?
So it's an artifact that was discovered back in 1872. And it's like a small handheld stone. It's got like a human face carved into it. It's like a strange looking artifact. But there are a couple of potential theories as to what it is and what its purpose was.
This is like a mystery.
It's a mystery. I know how much you like mysteries.
I love mysteries.
Yeah, so there are some theories as to what the purpose of it was or what it was used for, and you can read more about that on the Shark app.
I love mysteries so much that when detectives are about to solve a crime in real life, I go, hey, no spoilers.
You tell them to stop.
I go, stop. Keep it a mystery. But this is Lake Winnipesaukee.
Yeah.
And it's like a stone with a face in it, and everyone's like, "Where'd this come from?"
Yeah, it's with the New Hampshire Historical Society now, so I don't know if there's a way to like see it in real life, but there are pictures of it.
You know what I heard, and to call back to something we talked about earlier this week is, the tiki boat on Lake Winnipesaukee.
Yeah,
I heard if you drink enough drinks on the tiki boat, the stone starts talking to you.
That's so exciting.
Mm-hmm. So people should put those two together.
Kind of like if you have enough drinks, you'll see Bigfoot.
I don't drink. I see Bigfoot on my own. It's Classic Hits for the Seacoast, 102.1, 105.3 The Shark. We'll be right back with more Rineman in the Morning, where the truth is out there.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
Today is Cinco de Mayo, which, if you don't know how to speak Spanish, means 5 jars of mayonnaise. Yes, it's both Friday night and Cinco de Mayo, or as cab drivers put it, Dios mío. And tomorrow is the Kentucky Derby, also known as the most exciting 2 minutes, unless you count Rineman's wedding night. Hey!
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
Classic Hits for the Seacoast, 102.1, 105.3 The Shark. It's Rineman in the Morning. I asked you, what's the strangest pet you've ever seen someone walk? Christine's headed into Portsmouth.
Actually, I used to work in Salem, Mass, so I've seen a lot of lizards, parrot. Honestly, I think the birds are probably the strangest.
Oh my gosh, that's great. Well, it's Salem, Mass, so we don't know. It's a lot of witchcraft. Those could have been people that were turned into animals, right?
Anything's possible.
Anything's possible. Kevin Garnett. John from Hampton.
Pig.
A pig? You know what? I saw pigs are smart, though. I can see that. That's not so bad.
That's right. Potbelly pig.
Terry from Exeter.
An alpaca.
An alpaca?
Yeah.
Where was this?
I don't even know what I'm talking about. I just woke up.
You might have dreamt about this.
Maybe I did.
Well, I saw someone riding a unicorn, so join the club. It's Rineman in the Morning. I asked you, what's the strangest pet you've ever seen someone walk? Christine's headed into Portsmouth.
Actually, I used to work in Salem, Mass, so I've seen a lot of lizards, parrot. Honestly, I think the birds are probably the strangest.
Oh my gosh, that's great. Well, it's Salem, Mass, so we don't know. It's a lot of witchcraft. Those could have been people that were turned into animals, right?
Anything's possible.
Anything's possible. Kevin Garnett. John from Hampton.
A pig.
A pig? You know what? I saw pigs are smart, though. I can see that. That's not so bad.
That's right. Potbelly pig.
Terry from Exeter.
An alpaca.
An alpaca?
Yeah.
Where was this?
I don't even know what I'm talking about. I just woke up.
You might have dreamt about this.
Maybe I did.
Well, I saw someone riding a unicorn, so join the club.
Now on Rineman in the Morning, it's What's Up on the Shark app with Megan, the Shark's own app and website guru.
We've reached that point on Cinco de Mayo where I wrote something for the Shark app and Megan has questions.
Someone was walking their pet. What?
Lobster. A pet lobster.
What is the speed?
You got to go to the Shark app and see the picture of the guy taking his pet lobster for a walk.
What's the... That's a pretty slow walk. How fast can... Now I want to know. Now I want to go on the internet and look up how fast can lobsters travel.
I don't know. But
on land.
But yeah, and there's really not a whole lot of other information. And so if anyone knows this gentleman and his pet lobster... you know what? Keep it to yourself.
No, I think that's awesome.
You know, we had the 2 pugs in here earlier this week, and that was cool. But yeah, I don't need to meet the lobster. It's fine.
So, okay, I just looked up on Google. Apparently, they can go up to 11 miles an hour.
It's quicker than the T down in Boston.
Don't even get me started. Yeah.
Don't even get me started.
Don't even get me started.
Well, you know something, Megan? I wanted to help out in case anyone else was thinking of getting a pet lobster.
That's nice of you.
So you know what I did? I put together a list of 8 great things to ask yourself before taking your pet lobster for a walk. Would you like to hear them?
I would love nothing more, Ryan.
Well, the first one is, why am I walking my pet lobster?
That's an important start.
Yeah, that's a good one. Here's another one. Why do I have a pet lobster?
What are the life choices that got me to this moment?
Next one. Will this make my pet eel jealous? You got to think about that. Consider feelings. Should I get my lobster chipped in case he gets loose and runs off? Well, 11 miles per hour, you never know, right?
That's true. If you're our coworker Sean with his injured knee, that might be an issue.
Yeah, go faster than Sean. Should I get invisible fencing so my lobster can play in the yard? Well, that's nice, right? You know, you might be busy. Should I put my pet lobster's name on his collar so he doesn't get mixed up with someone else's pet lobster? We've all been to the lobster park and, had a close call. Isn't walking the lobster what got Louis C.K. in trouble? Hey, wait a minute. Did you write that, Megan?
Don't look at me. I didn't do anything.
And then finally, the last question you want to ask yourself before walking your pet lobster, should I bring a lobster bib for the dog that winds up eating my pet lobster? Well, that's what you want to know. It's Classic Hits for the Seacoast, 102.1, 105.3 The Shark. We'll be right back with more Rineman in the Morning.
For Cinco de Mayo, I'm joined by Crescenzio and Miguel, the owners of Cinco de Mayo Bar and Grill in Dover and Cinco's Cantina at the Brickyard in Epping. Gentlemen, welcome to Rineman in the Morning. Nods don't work on the radio, guys, but that's fine.
Hey, how are you?
Sean?
These are like my favorite people on the planet here. Like, come on.
Because I have my New England accent. You guys, I was like, we're going to try to make this work. I didn't know you were going to do mime stuff to kick off the weirdness. My gosh. Anyway, it's a crazy time. It's Cinco de Mayo. Gentlemen, welcome. Tell us why Cinco de Mayo and Cinco's Cantina, why are there such great places to jump into for people here on the seacoast?
I think one of the things that we have really good food and really good margaritas, and it's
tremendous.
Authentic. It's real.
Yeah. And how long have these places been open? Can you tell us your story? Like, when did you come here and open these businesses?
Well, we opened Dover in 2014.
Yeah.
And our location in Brickyard Square, we opened it in 2020.
That's right. I love Brickyard Square, too. You guys got in on the ground floor over there. What's happening this weekend at Cinco de Mayo and Cinco's Cantina for Cinco de Mayo weekend? What do you guys got going on?
We have a lot raffles going on. We have, of course, you guys, the radio coming in later on today.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have DJ tonight. And also, well, we have all kinds of giveaways. You have to come in and just check our Facebook page. You can see what's going on in there. We have live music, mariachi on both locations. Dover, we have it from, I believe, from 2 to 5 tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then from 6 to 9 in Epping. We also have this really cool bike.
Yeah, it's
with
a bike.
A bike.
It's a bike. John, get this.
That's Sean also. What does the bike
John,
do?
so there's a blender, right? There's a blender on the bike, right? Me and Miguel are gonna have like a race here, and there's a blender. It's a margarita blender on a bike. You gotta get on the bike.
Yeah.
I think you put the ingredients in the blender, and then you do the bike so that it blends the margarita.
It's like
you do a workout for
Sean, do the police know you're doing this?
No.
All right. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming in. It's Cinco de Mayo Bar and Grill here in Dover, and then, of course, Cinco's Cantina over at the Brickyard in Epping. Happy Cinco de Mayo, guys. Thank you so much for coming in. We have one more caller who saw someone walking something strange on a leash. He is, of course, Johnny C. from Exeter. Johnny, what'd you see?
Parrot.
A parrot? You saw someone walking a parrot?
Yeah, and it was talking. It was on a rail trail.
So you're out hiking and someone's walking their parrot and they're like having a fight?
No, they were just talking, but it sounded like me.
Okay, good. I thought we were having like the weirdest Dateline episode of all time. Where were you at the time of the murder? Where were you at the time of the murder? Okay, call this off.
Hola, mi nombre es Senor Butters, and it's time for your Friday Flix Cinco de Mayo edition. If it's laughs you want, you can't go wrong with The Three Amigos, a movie filmed with Spanish-speaking extras so nobody knew when Chevy Chase was insulting them. For more giggles south of the border, press play on Nacho Libre. Jack Black plays a man who has to wear a disguise just to go to a wrestling match. Or as we'd call him now, Vince McMahon. Mix your 5-5 with a little 420 and check out Up in Smoke with Cheech and Chong. If you can't remember if you've seen it, that's fine, because neither can they. I'm Charlie Butters, and remember to keep an eye on the screen and a hand in the nachos.
I need a drink.